So I'm almost having to choose, like, do I love where I work and I want to stay there, or do I need time with my child and with my husband? And it feels like a really hard choice. It feels like an impossible choice.
Silicon Valley has more jobs than homes, so housing costs soar, pushing workers out of the area. Why should we all care? Well, traffic congestion, long waits for services, and trouble staffing businesses. We say if you work hard, you'll have a home and time for your family. But for many, teachers, first responders, and service workers, that promise is a dream. Here are their stories.
I'm in the car on average each day at least an hour and a half to 2 hours. That's if I've left at the times I'm hoping to leave, and that's just not counting weather or something on the road.
Sometimes I would kind of wake up early, either worrying about the commute or wake up early because our baby was crying. And sometimes even if it was 4 in the morning or 3:30 in the morning, I would just get up and go, because then at least there'd be no cars on the road.
For those that are the primary wage earners, it is very stressful. They're looking at creative housing solutions. Many of them have second jobs. They're doing shared housing, and they are trying to always find ways to be able to maximize whatever income they can to just go that little bit further.
So I had to find somewhere myself that I was able to afford, which was very difficult, and there are just not a lot of options in that regard, so yeah.
For my housing, I don't feel like I have a lot of good alternatives. I've been in my building for 10 years, and in that time, in the past 4 years, I've seen the rent go up almost $700 a month, just in the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, the high cost of housing is impacting the retention of quality teachers, in that we will hire teachers and we will put a lot of effort and money and time into training them. And then at the end of 1 or 2 years, once the realization is set in that this is the reality of our home buyer situation in this area, we lose those teachers.
And so I decided to move to Mountain View. I originally only had one roommate. I have a 2-bedroom apartment, so we each had our own room. It's now gotten to the point where I have 3 roommates in the same 2-bedroom apartment that I've lived in for 4 years.
In the long term, we can't stay in Sunnyvale. My husband and I rent a 2-bedroom apartment with another couple because we can't afford to live on our own. But I'm 30 and I would like to have kids and settle down and live with my husband without housemates.
But unfortunately, since our rent has been raised twice, and I think those 2 rent raises equaled up to $1,200 a piece, we're gonna have to move in order to actually save for a home.
So as I started to work there, I found that everything that attracted me to the school when I was looking at it and investigating and applying there was true. I mean, the student body is just fantastic. It's diverse. The administration is very solid. The other staff members are great. The community is great. So everything about it was just overall fantastic. And then when I got permanent status after 2 years, it was almost this weird feeling of I almost became more kind of down and depressed and tired, and I had no idea why. At the start of my 3rd year, I'm like, what is wrong with you? You have permanent status now. You can now work at this place you really want to work at. And I think one day I realized on the commute home, of course, you're gonna have to do this drive every day for the next 30 years. Like, you're gonna hit this wall of traffic on 880 North every day for the next, however long. And it's just gonna get worse year after year. So I think I just became exhausted thinking about the future.
We need to have our caregivers close to us. We have a lot of patients that we have to take care of, and we can't have people living, a lot of people on call. We can't have people living 3 hours away that are being on call.
In all that time commuting, I give up a lot of time that could be used for studying. I'm a part-time student, so about an hour each way, that's 2 hours roughly where I would be losing out on study time.
I see myself growing and developing as a teacher and being a part of this school community, and we have a kind of an institution of English teachers in our department. Some have become admin, others have just worked as in so many leadership positions within the school to make our department what it is, and I really want to be a part of that institution. And I never thought that it would be a conversation that I would leave. My entire family is 45 minutes away. My husband's entire family is 45 minutes away. But as we start talking about kids and the reality of living here,
We've been losing quite a few employees. About 30% of our employees leave the area, relocate out of the area, which is not something that's very significant to us.
Oh, I really do think these affordable housing issues are issues for all of us. I mean, look, even if you're already well housed or affordably housed, you care about the quality of life in your community. You care about the tax base. You care about the economic vitality that allows you to have great parks and good streets and solid schools. And all of that depends on the ability to attract and retain a workforce. And without workforce housing, you've got no workforce, and that economic vitality and that tax base is at risk. So, there's a very practical reason in that regard to care. Beyond that, I think, any one of us who's stuck in traffic, and that's pretty much all of us, has to say, where did these people come from? And the answer is they came from someplace an hour and a half to 2 hours away, and, they're driving halfway to hell and gone to get to work, and they're wishing that they were only 5 or 10 minutes away from work just like you are. And what that means is that the traffic we complain about is the traffic we've created by telling those folks they can't be part of our community. And then, finally, I also think it's not just an economic vitality or traffic issue, it's a public safety issue. Because we live in a place where there are fires and floods and earthquakes, and the next time we have one of those, we're going to want people there to help keep us safe. And if the folks who keep us safe, whether it's a cop or a firefighter or a nurse or a PG&E lineman or just somebody who's got the keys to the building, isn't there because we've priced them out of our neighborhoods, we're going to be at risk. So for all those practical reasons, but finally I would just say, I think most of us really want to live in communities where we feel a sense of neighborliness and where the people we interact with on a daily basis aren't strangers to us. I think we'd like to be able to call somebody by the first name, have them call us by our first. I think we want our teachers to feel like they're part of the fabric of the community and really invested, and that they understand the pressures or the challenges of a particular community that a kid is facing every day before they come to school. So it's a kind of a Norman Rockwell old-fashioned notion of community, but I think it's something actually people are really hungry for these days, and it ought to be another reminder of why affordable housing isn't just an issue for somebody else, it's an issue for all of us.
We're thinking about moving to Morgan Hill, which is going to be a very substantial commute. I think that we're just going to have to cope with an hour plus commute for each of us just so that we can feel like we can call someplace home. And that's really what we want. We want to call someplace home. Would we like to call this area home? Absolutely. I want to continue to work for Los Altos because I love the district. And it may mean that I commute an hour, 10 minutes just to get there so that I can have that piece of stability in my life.